I am driving the same Kia Seltos that has the same 7-speed dry DCT that everybody just hates. Welcome to Cars in Korea. I introduce newly released Genesis Hyundai and Kia cars. And as you saw from the thumbnail, I have 2025 Hyundai Tucson facelift, and I am test driving this car today. I only moved the car, drove it for like 30 seconds, and the reason why I pulled out the camera real quick is because I want to give you and deliver my first impression, unbiased impression of what the car is like. So starting with my day one, so this will be the first video about this car, but after the test drive, having it driven over a few hundred kilometers, getting a good idea of what this car is like, city's going to work, I want to tell you all about it at the end of the test drive. That way I can come up with a comprehensive test drive video about it. But right off the bat, of course, I have to mention about the look. It's the facelift after all. The face has been lifted. It's not completely different, yet it is quite different. I will give you a side-by-side comparison to this facelift versus a pre-facelift momentarily. That's gonna be my next video for sure. You see the DRL lights that are located right here, and of course all this is flicker you're seeing on a GoPro right now. So number of the DRL lights we used to have over here had 5 that actually had like the angel wings, but on a facelift model we get 4 of them. However, because we lost one DRL at the bottom, the DRL overall got much bigger. And these 2 portions up ahead, they work as the turn signal. It is much larger than the pre-facelift, where we used to have a tiny light bulb somewhere right here that worked as a turn signal. I will have a thorough review all about the headlight right here because that's where the biggest upgrade has been made. It gets the intelligent headlight to detect the oncoming traffic, and it will actually adjust the lighting. That has been implemented on Genesis, the first time ever on a mid-size SUV like Tucson, that is for certain. So keep an eye on that one. I will be definitely checking that out. Before I get into the test drive with the car, I have to mention it, I have to put it out there. We know that the car has got the 7-speed dry DCT dual clutch transmission. Hyundai Motor Group does have the 8-speed automatic. Beautiful automatic transmission, hands down by far. That already has been implemented on the compact cars, Kona and Kia Seltos even. However, this car has got the 7-speed dry DCT, which is the identical transmission that's been applied on my daily driver, Kia Seltos pre-facelift. I have driven the car over 20,000 kilometers as my daily highway, you name it. It is my family car with my wife Dima, so I know quite a lot when it comes to the 7-speed DCT, dry DCT. I'm really hoping that there would have been an upgrade from the last Kia Seltos of mine, which is already about 2 years old. So there has been some time in between. Even if it's a minor thing, there will be an upgrade, and things always do get enhanced. Even if it's not mechanical, it could be done via the ECU, the TCU update, the software update, right? So I will tell you all about it in my first impression in about a few minutes. But before I do that, so much about the 7-speed DCT, but look at that. So this is the interior that we get from the facelift. So it's all been idling up until now, so it's how quiet. I mean, it's turned off now, so you guys have been hearing how loud it was when the car was idling. Stupid me, like turn this off when I'm about to show you the display. What am I doing? All right, so fire this car up. This is the most beautiful part. I gotta show you starting from here. So the beautiful beige, if not white-ish interior. Finally, Tucson said goodbye to that 10.25-inch monitors. We do get that 12.3-inch dual monitors left and right. So the Sportage got it, and Sportage even got it before the bigger brother Sorento got it. There is nothing for me to cry about when it comes to this dual 12.3-inch monitors. You see, I am quite used to this because I've been driving around with this display quite some time now. It's a beautiful piece of technology to have. Bigger the screen, it's always the better, unless it's like what, 60-inch TV inside your car, right? Gigantic screen even for your rear view cam, and also 360 view cam on a Tucson. It's really interactive and also direct, intuitive, as you can see. Now, finally, that button type gear selector is gone. Where is it? Thanks to the column type shifter, the shift by wire gear selector right here. I really like this gear selector. It's really intuitive. Of course, press on the foot brake and just twist it to the direction that you want to go. If you want to go forward, push it forward, the car's going to go into drive. Put it back, it's gonna go into the reverse, and I push it in, it's gonna go into the parking. And how do you go into the neutral? Just tilt it about the halfway. The car's gonna go into neutral. And I just found out if you put it into reverse, of course it's gonna do that. I'm not a big fan of side view mirrors tilting down, but I know some people do love it, especially, you know, avoid the curves, and also it gets a beautiful job, as you can see it right there. Just like that. Thanks to the column type, that is gone. The gear selector buttons are gone. So there is the wireless charging pad for your smartphone. And my phone is iPhone 14 Pro Max, and it is large enough, even with the case covers around it. And look at that. I'm pretty sure it's not the charging status, the battery status, but rather it's just showing you that it's been charging. First time I've seen it on a car, and it is also very direct. A quick glance of it, you already know the phone is in the right place and it's already being charged. You know, the way it's been shaped, it's not gonna be all that difficult for you to just put the phone in the right place and have it going with the charging, just like that. Other self-explanatory buttons here. All of this, I've already covered it in my previous video, so check it out in the card above, where I have gone through the interior and exterior extensive review on it. And that is including a regular model, which I'm test driving right now, 1.6 turbo with 7-speed dry DCT. Also N-Line, including the hybrid. And I've met this Tucson at a IceLink. Fabulous job that Hyundai has done with the PR team and all. And just look at that gigantic panoramic sunroof too. I'm already inside and I want to make a good use of this video because I know not everybody watches all of my videos. And since you're already here, let me just tell you, let me just quickly fly through it. As you can see, there is this extra storage where you can put your stuff, item, purse, smartphone, especially for the passenger sitting on the passenger seat. You can throw your stuff right here. This started first with Hyundai Casper, micro car from Hyundai, currently being sold here in Korea only. And that car is about to get an EV, which of course I will be reviewing. It started on Casper, which carried over to Santa Fe, and now Tucson also gets it. Designer perspective, designer-wise, it's better for them to just actually leave it empty, blank, and make it just go along with the design overall. However, they carved that in, so this car can actually be practical. This car can actually be useful to those who will be driving it daily as a family car, city car, grocery getter, you name it. So that is what the designers have put in mind and gave us. At the moment I saw it from Casper, I was praising it from the day one. The drop-down glove box right here, nothing out of the ordinary. And for the first row windows, it is actually a dual laminated acoustic glass, as you can see, implemented for the first time on this Tucson facelift. It was just the windshield up until now, but it is on the first row seat, as you can see. However, it is yet to be implemented on the second row seat, as you can see. So you actually can tell the difference immediately. One single laminated glass versus two dual laminated acoustic glass on the first row seat. 3-level heated seats just like this, and the second row windows are also fully automated. The second row window goes down all the way. This makes a huge difference for a family with doggos, especially doggos that are not tall. Yes, I'm talking about my doggo. So she is not the tallest dog in the world, so she's gonna love that. Nothing out of the ordinary, just appreciate this beautiful interior color. Absolutely love it. And this C-type charging ports, I always make a good use of. So there is no AC controller for the second row seat. It is just the vents buttons to move the passenger seat, the shotgun. And the best part, just look at that. I can't even get it on a one single view and angle. The best panoramic sunroof you can get from this class, the mid-size SUV like Hyundai Tucson. Check this out. So it doesn't really open all that much, given that it's a panoramic sunroof. Would have been certainly nice if it opened up more. Before this video turns into another review video, I really have to wrap it up and get it moving. I will, you have my word. Automated tailgate, as you just saw. You see how slanted, how tilted the second row seat is? I'm pretty sure that it is at its lowest angle, folded. So fold it down, as you just saw, it actually dives down. The lower portion also dives down and it gets locked. Fold the second row seat, it actually dives down, just like that. It is obvious this way, right? And when I actually click it at the lowest, so this is about the level of the inclination that you can get. So of course that nobody's gonna sit like that, but it is to maximize the trunk. So when you really need to store something and you do need to have somebody sitting, I mean, you could sit on the second row seat like this, you know, I think I can sit down here for about good 30 minutes. It's not bad. So this is the difference, the level of the inclination that you can get. Ooh. Look at that. So that is how much difference you can get with this leaned back all the way and erect all the way to the forward. Believe it or not, I always try my best not to jump here and there. You can fold the second row seat by yanking that, so you actually do have to. So there is also this cover which also dives down like this. There you go. Check and see if your Hyundai Kia car also gets that. Why am I saying it? Because I recently found out that my Seltos also has it. This actually does make a huge difference, especially when you're driving a compact car like my Seltos or Kona. Tucson, of course, is a larger car than the ones I just listed, but that is going to make a difference as well. So you see, that is how much space you can get. A difference of you being able to load something vertically versus not. This is the wheelhouse for the rear wheel, but that design, it is just so flush. Hyundai has done a great job with the storages inside the Tucson. You can see 12-volt outlet right here and LED light for your cargo nets and luggage screen and all. All the styrofoam's inside. Of course, it is to keep the items inside and intact, but that actually does add on to and help with noise coming into the cabin. Although it's not shown here, there is the screen luggage cover, which will lock right over here accordingly. Two things that I just have to point out. First is that 7-speed DCT. Of course, I'm a little prejudiced here because I didn't even test drive the car yet, but I will soon find out and tell you about it in a few minutes. But the taillight, that even got lower than the pre-facelift model. Let me show it to you. A lot of people did point out how low the turn signals sit, and it's even lower than the pre-facelift. It should have been raised, not lowered. Because as we know, this car does get sold globally. So once the headlights are located right there, that actually checks boxes for a lot of regulations internationally. So that is one of the reasons why it's about time that really needs to be raised. And I have no argument about that. I don't think I've seen a single person who actually does prefer having the rear turn signals sitting that low. They could have put it right here. I'm pretty sure they have thought about it. It made its way down there this time, so fingers crossed with an all-new model, we might see the difference. Has now been flush. It's sitting flush with the rear glass, so there is no interruption. It is just one whole piece of a glass. And there is the hidden wiper, something that Ioniq 5 owners always have been wanting. This is where the rear view cam as well as the onboard camera 2.0 that this facelift Tucson has gotten. What else is there for me to cover? Wheels. Square setup, same wheels and tire size all around, 235, 55, 19 on the rear. Same thing for the front, and a brand new wheel design for the facelift. All right, finally, let's go test drive this car. right now. I'm not joking. Let's go. Adjust my sitting position. The telescopic is a manual. No surprise on that. And I do see the HUD though. So finally, Tucson got the HUD head-up display, and you can change the height and rotation right here, and it will adjust the level of the HUD that we see. It's flickers that we see right there. This is where the service area is. So you actually want to pay attention to what's right above, not the bottom one. That is not navigation telling you the direction, but it's that one. Don't ask me how I know about it. I found out the hard way. Tucson facelift has CCNC, connected car navigation cockpit. That means it has wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, as we can see. Look at that. Yes. All right, so let's get moving. I want to devote all of my senses to feeling this 7-speed dry DCT. I really don't want to be all that quick to judge. I didn't even drive a kilometer with this car. I'm really careful as to making comments about this vehicle just yet. Very comfortable, clear line of sight. It's really easy to drive and maneuver. It doesn't necessarily have the most cushiony suspension in the world, as you can see. And I am driving around in cities where there is the constant stop and go, which is the worst condition for the 7-speed dry DCT. I gotta put this guy back up right here. It's making all that noise. There's still more for me to feel, but it is much smoother than my Ghia Seltos 7-speed dry DCT, period. Because I drove that car right before driving this car, and again, that is my daily. I put over 20,000 kilometers on that transmission, so I know how 7 dry DCTs feel like when you drive it around in cities. This Tucson does it much better and smoother than the Seltos. That is for a certain. I don't feel that jerking motion of that dry DCT, that strong initial bite of the transmission coming in whatsoever. It's not there. It's really smooth, I should say. All right, that seems like it's happening a little too early, so you can set all this in your settings. And you can also change the level of the HDA, how fast and quick it will respond with the acceleration, picking up the speed. You can change all of that in your settings. As I have already mentioned at the start of today's video, I want to deliver you this unbiased, raw first impression of the car, the test drives, and of course throughout the course of the test drive where I have accumulated good enough of the mileage, having spent enough time for me to talk about what the car feels like overall. That is the sole purpose I am making this video right now, without me even knowing what it's like to drive one. Let me mention it once more. I am driving the same Ghia Seltos that has the same 7-speed dry DCT dual clutch transmission that everybody just hates. I genuinely do like my 7-speed dry DCT. Well, first of all, it is a manual based, so I really do like that crisp feeling of the clutches and the gears engaging. And also, it really gives you a great MPG once you pick up the speed and put the car on the freeway and highway. Yes, if you have watched my previous video where I talked about Kona and Seltos facelift, where it also has the 8-speed automatic, it's all beautiful. If I really had to choose between the two, I would certainly choose 8-speed automatic because there is constant stop and go, and it gets heavily congested in city of Seoul, Korea, just like many other cities in the world. 7-speed DCT is not the best one to perform. It may not necessarily be your #1 choice. I'd rather have a little more smoother or best driving comfort pleasure experience possible than to have a little bit of extra MPG. How that transmission feels like on this 2025 Hyundai Tucson facelift is just different. It's very different. So it is different from the 2-year-old my 7-speed DCT of 2023 Ghia Seltos model. So it's already that much different. If you are one of those people who have driven the very first early 7-speed DCT, I don't blame you. It was not the best transmission that Hyundai Motor Group could have offered. There is a constant improvement of the vehicle that really go unnoticed because it's all, well, hard to notice. I feel like that is exactly what has happened with this Tucson facelift. And just like that, I see a Seltos facelift that has the 8-speed automatic. But really much smoother than what I have on my Seltos. Plus, it would certainly be much better than the early first generation 7-speed DCT. So I already have activated my HDA, and it just works beautiful and flawless with the 7-speed DCT as well. Behaves very differently than my Seltos. It really boils down to what Hyundai has done with the TCU, just the fine adjustments and tunes and upgrades that has been implemented on the transmission. I think that's enough of it for today. With my first impression, I will tell you all about it at the end of my test drive video, where I would wrap it all up. And I of course am clocking how much I drive a test drive, for how long, and all that average fuel consumption and all. So I will definitely let you know. And I put the car into normal mode because that's how I drive my car on a daily basis, so I can actually compare how this vehicle performs and feels back and forth. A lot of comparison that I'll be making here today will be my daily driver Ghia Seltos. I know it's not a fair game. It should have been Ghia Sportage, but well, my daily driver is the Ghia Seltos 7-speed dry DCT, so bear with me. And currently I am seeing it can travel 615 kilometers with the full tank of gasoline. That's a lot of distance that this car can cover. And again, this car is not hybrid. The test driver I have today is 1.6 turbo. That's it. 2-wheel drive, inspiration trim. So I guess that will do for now. And if I pick up a little more on the way, I'll turn on the camera and tell you more about it. And actually, I am on my way to make a comparison video to this Tucson versus Hyundai Santa Fe, the all-new Hyundai Santa Fe. Again, I know it's not a fair game. I'm not trying to make the video as a comparison video, but rather there are people who are debating whether you should get a Tucson facelift, right, this one, or an all-new Santa Fe with a little bit of an extra investment. Those two are actually one of the best-selling cars worldwide from Hyundai. So I am on my way to make that video. I will see you over there if I wrap up today's video right here. I will be test driving this Tucson facelift for a few days. Drop in my community post any questions you might have, or also drop in the comment below right down to this video, because I will be uploading this video on the first day of, which is today, when I get back home tonight. So that being said, I'll meet you in the Santa Fe video, and plus overall summary wrap up video of this 2025 Hyundai Tucson facelift. All right, that's it. Don't forget to subscribe and like Cars in Korea if you did, and I will see you in the next video. It's making all the alarms, so it is still torque feedback basis steering wheel, meaning you actually have to shake your steering wheel every now and then in order to let the car know that you have your hands on the steering wheel. So they actually have used a minimal features for the buttons, where you can use the heated ventilated seats as well as a heated steering wheel and all. So instead we get this gigantic storage. Also put your purse inside here, no problem. Flooring the car. And brakes.